mentioned something very interesting. How you said after 9/11 things really got tough or changed a lot. So we talked off air a little bit about something. Fear of Muslims. What's the word for that again?
Islamophobia.
Islamophobia. That sounds crazy, but I hope you can tell us a little bit about that. But this whole thing, fear of Muslims, do you think it's real, and what do you think started it? And first, maybe start off by saying what that word really implies. Like, what is that word saying?
Islamophobia. Hell yeah, that's real.
I mean, it's not really a word.
I would use the S word.
Oh yeah, please don't. Like, when you get into it now, like, control yourself, please.
No, thoroughly, not a worry.
It's like this whole birther movement with Obama. Birther is not a word. Like, it seems like the media is making up words.
Oh,
so
yeah.
crazy. Like, that's a whole nother issue, though.
Well, yeah, I think like phobia is like you're scared, like
Yeah.
arachnophobia, Islam. You're scared of Islam, and whether like people want to deny it, like that's an issue, and like that's like Muslims' time right now. Like we're dealing just like the Chinese Exclusion Act, and they had Japanese internment camps and Zoot Suit riots, and the African Americans had to deal with their situation, and the natives way before all that. This country's had a lot of resentment towards every immigrant. In fact, even the Irish were third-class citizens out here,
Even though they were white, but
Yeah.
for a while they weren't considered white.
Not
Yeah.
considered white, exact to the point where they started fighting alongside the Mexicans against
Wow.
the West, the white man, I guess. But yeah, Islamophobia is serious. People never really heard about it. I mean, it really like bred like around 9/11, I suppose. It really arose, but I think it was before all that. Because you listen in the media, days back to like Aladdin, which was made 1994, and I mean it did kind of like glamorize Aladdin, some cute dude and Jasmine, but then you had like those like the bad guys, Jafar, like just a typical looking like Arab dude, like tall, skinny, long beard, yeah, and like enforcing Sharia law, like that's like the biggest taboo thing. And you got like Jasmine almost got her hand chopped off for like giving a kid an apple in the movie. Islamophobia in Park 51 in New York, what they call it, mosque is ground zero. Like it was like huge issue. Like they were trying to prevent mosques from being built even before that, but that like hit the headlines, and thank God, like that kind of helped us out, as Muslims, because we got a lot of Hispanics are converting. But yeah, like
Sorry to interrupt, but when I saw that going on in the media, I was really, it really kind of, hit me too, even though I'm not Muslim. How does it make you feel as a Muslim, like just seeing that? Really that you, like you say, resentment, whole thing in the media totally blew up. How does it make you feel?
I think it's a mixed blessing, man. In a sense, though, we're all Americans.
Yes.
And people like...
Not all people seem to understand that.
No, sure don't. Even like a couple months ago, like these Muslims representing CARE were throwing this fundraiser to support, like, I think it was like single-parent mothers or whatever it is, like housings, because they're doing bad. And then you got these... I'm going to say right-wing activists, because that's what it is, and you see it on Fox News. And these guys are all outside, like, calling these people, like, terrorists, go home, go beat your wife. And you got little 3-year-old kids going to this fundraiser.
I know exactly what you're talking about. I saw this video. We talked about it in class. It was here in Orange County.
Yeah, exactly.
I couldn't even watch it. I wanted to, like, take the TV and throw it out the window. It's crazy.
And that makes, like, America look even worse, because we've never really had good outlook around the world. Like we have we're not trusted in America. We're considered ignorant, and that just adds on to the ignorance.
Exactly.
Muslims do good. Ummah clinics in South Central LA, and they give like free health screenings and health services for the poor people in South Central LA, and that's Muslims. And we got CARES out there doing good work. With even MSA, Muslim Student Association, a couple of days ago, we had interfaith dialogue with Rabbi
Congratulations
Kaplan.
on that.
Thank you. So it was very great, very successful. We had Rabbi Drew Kaplan with Beach Halal. We had Don Allen represented a couple Christian clubs on campus, and the Muslims, we did that, and we got a lot of love and respect and a lot of support from the other organizations on campus.
Wow, that's great.
Yeah.
Now, No, I just have to say, like I mentioned before, I lived in Tunisia. I have a lot of friends that are Muslim, and I mean, obviously there's good and bad in every culture and every religion. But I love all my Muslim friends. They're so open-minded. They know about different cultures. They're definitely not what some people portray in the media. Where do you really think this fear of Muslims is coming from, or even this resentment?
Shit.
I mean, when we talk about the fundraise, I mean, really, that is just crazy, You see people doing good, and then you see politicians, like, totally going crazy, doing hatred things. And so where do you think it's coming from? Are we looking for a scapegoat? Is it still based on 9/11? Is it just images that keep on reinforcing? Like, what is the motivation behind it? What do you think?
Yeah, I think it's man. I think I don't know. I can't explain it because it's so stupid, but it's the media, man. And like, especially Fox News, man. The stuff they be putting on. You got guys like Newt Gingrich says, if I was Obama, I would do this to help the people in Libya. Then Obama does exactly what he does, and then he says he's stupid, he's crazy, like he's hating on Obama. The party of no, yup. And he's like, there's another dude, I don't even know his name right now. He made the cover of Time, but yeah, I mean, that's where it's at. I mean, you look at the movies throughout it, like our history. Like I'm a Muslim. I have to watch these movies, or actually, I haven't really seen. For example, let's say, what's that movie with Ice Cube? Kings. There's a couple Rambo movies too. Rambo's in Afghanistan doing this thing. Like Arabs are like considered the bad guys thoroughly, Like.
Yeah. Oh, you mean like even in movies they're portrayed that way?
Three Kings is the movie I'm talking about.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, like that's what the movies, our radio stations. It's half the story you hear, man. I don't want to get into the Palestine situation so early, but yeah, I mean, everyone like considered terrorists. And don't get me wrong, like Taliban, I wouldn't support the Taliban. That's bad news. The Taliban is bad news, but I mean. But
the thing is, there's good and bad in every culture. Are we saying that every single white Christian is a good person?
Nah, not at all.
Okay, yeah, they have gangs. Muslim people have gangs. So have white people. So have black people. So that's not a good argument at all to me personally. So okay, we're gonna get into the Palestine situation. I think after the song, we're gonna play Jennifer Lopez right now. But after that, we're gonna talk about Palestine. Okay?
Okay.
Okay. Thank you. You're listening to Rock the Beach on KB's Global Radio. You're listening to Rock the Beach on KB's Global Radio. Today in the studio with Camille talking about Muslims, and right now we're gonna enter the
Palestinian conversation.
Yes, exactly.
All right.
So tell us a little bit about that.
The Palestine issue. I don't know. It goes back. Like people want to say it goes back like hundreds of thousands of years, but nah. I mean, Israel was declared a state in the 1940s, like very late 1940s. So to say it goes way back then, I mean, what are you gonna say? Like when the Native Americans got their land taken by the colonists, it's fucked up. And like the Native Americans, we hear stories like Squanto. I don't know how factual this is, but I do know that when the colonists first came, they were about to die off, and the natives helped them out. And that's just the tragedy of the whole situation, because the Jewish golden age was under Islamic ruled Spain. When the Muslims controlled Spain, that was the Jewish golden age. Like we were together, and they were harmonious in Jerusalem and all that back in the days, but this movement of Zionism came along again. And then we got Zionism's this thing. Quick summary about it's like the Jews have been persecuted all around the world throughout like history. Yeah. And after the Holocaust, actually it was before the Holocaust, they were discussing how are we going to protect ourselves, going through all this and that, like we need a safety. All right, we'll just create a homeland. All right, where's the homeland going to be? That's where it's at. That's where we began, was in Jerusalem. So Zionism, everything filters at that's home, Jerusalem, and all money goes into there, everything. And people say like the world's controlled by Jews, or America's controlled by Jews, but it's the confusion about the Palestine conflict is they think it's a religious situation where Muslims are fighting Jews.
Yeah, what is it really about?
Man, it's like you got like You got Jews like Rabbi Weiss and Jeff Halper speaking out against the state of Israel and their conduct. You got organizations like Bet Islam and Haaretz. They're against the state of Israel and their conduct is so foul. The situation's like Jesus was never in Jerusalem because Christianity ain't really there anymore, you know? Yeah. And they're getting chased out, and that made the cover of the National Geographic. The Christians are getting out, like the mass exodus out. And that's just like the huge takeover, and that's the ignorance in America that they don't really know this stuff.
Good job.
But yeah, I mean, yeah, it's not a Muslim or Jewish thing. It's Zionists against humanity. That's the factual. It gets compared. Nelson Mandela spoke out against the situation that's going on there. Mahatma Gandhi spoke out against the situation over there.
So when
Marlon
you say
Brando
they speak out against the situation that's going on there, what are they saying should be happening?
Well, what should be happening? Well, you got the state of Israel, right? Mm-hmm. And that's what they want is that land is Palestine, yeah? And they keep expanding, building new settlements. And Barack Obama says stop building settlements, but they don't stop, and we don't do anything. And then the Arabs try to go fairly and have this resolution to acknowledge that the expansion of settlements in Israel or Palestine by the Israelis is prohibiting the peace process. And I think like 15 countries passed this. But USA is so powerful, and USA was the only country to say, nah, we're not going to support that. So it didn't go through. We're looking at like olive trees are being uprooted, houses are being demolished, water's being allocated. Israel's collecting taxes from the Palestinians. You got Jeff Halper came over here like 3 months ago, and he acknowledged the fact that you can't even eat a banana in the Gaza Strip. I don't know why you can't eat a banana. You can't study Shakespeare. They want to keep the population ignorant because an educated population is going to backfire. And then you got guys like George Bush calling this war on axis of evil, you know, and it's major crusade, and Israel's this and that, and out for peace. And unfortunately, the world laughs at us. Like last year, they had a flotilla that left Turkey, but it had 13 Irish nationals. And this flotilla is going to Gaza to bring concrete, medication, and just everything you need just to live. The worst of anything they had was night vision goggles. Like, that's the worst of anything. And they told this to the Israeli military, but the Israeli military still stormed this flotilla, and people got hurt. I think people got killed. And I mean, it was both sides, but there's no reason to be storming a humanitarian ship, you know? Israel bombs United Nations schools. They attack UN outposts. The United Nations has acknowledged the fact that Israel has violated more than 90 resolutions. Like, everything I'm saying is facts. Israel has 200 nuclear warheads, but they haven't signed a nuclear non-proliferation treaty. And they also don't allow UN inspectors to come and look at these weapons. And when they was acknowledged, nobody even knew Israel had these weapons, and they have 200 nuclear weapons. Yet Iran, on the other hand, has signed a nuclear non-proliferation treaty and has allowed, in the past, has allowed UN inspectors. And unfortunately, the rules aren't fair, and this adds on to this war on Islamic countries, if you want to say that. But I think it's a war on resources, and it's just U.S. has relied on so many other countries to make us live so nice, and it's brainwashed, our population so stupid. Yes, stupid's not a bad word, but it's like people don't care about like Cambodia's situations, how they have children are being prostitutes, and we don't learn about every animal is an endangered species, and we have an island, more than one island of plastic, in not just the Pacific, in other oceans the size of Texas. We have huge issues. The whole continent of Africa is plagued, and we hate on Cuba. I can't even smoke a Cuban cigar. Like, what's Cuba done to me in the last 50 years, you know?
Yeah, no, you make an interesting point. I totally agree with
It's
you
just,
on that.
yeah.
It's definitely the media, how we portray things, what we choose to cover, what we choose not to cover. And there's definitely a lot of important economic and social issues going on in the world that we don't get to hear about unless we, do some serious investigation and research online. The other thing, so what I think I saw that while we had this whole week going on here on campus.
Palestine Awareness Week.
Yes, that was great. I really liked the pictures and the awareness.
I didn't like the pictures.
Well, I didn't like the pictures,
No, I'm
but
just
you
joking.
see what I was, you know what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, yeah.
But I saw a quote, and I think it said something like, "We give more money to Israel than all Arabian." Now I really get you going, huh? Than all Arabian countries together. So
Not just that. The fact is, you can watch like Occupation 101 is a good film, but it's like in other resources too. We give Israel the same amount of money as we give Africa, South America, Central America, the Caribbean. We give Israel 1/3 of the aid we give to the whole world. Like, how do you do that? Israel has free healthcare. We don't have healthcare over here. I mean, why are we doing this? I don't understand. We've caught spies from Israel. Spies have been found in the U.S. Israel has attacked our ships in the past. We got presidents that like Jimmy Carter's spoken out against the state of Israel. Anyone that speaks out, though, has to apologize later. For example, Mel Gibson, Marlon Brando I was talking about. I mean, you got Israeli military, the refuteniks is what they're called, and they don't want to serve the state of Israel because they know what they're doing is bad, and they don't abide by anything that moves. Just shoot, use human shields, and they say the Muslims use human shields. It's messed up. I hate to be on the tangent, but like George Bush was praising bringing democracy to the Middle East, and then the U.S. has monitored and made sure there was a democratic election in Palestine, and the same group that the Palestinians elected was not who the Americans wanted, or the Bush administration, and the people of Palestine were punished for this vote. They voted for the wrong group. I don't want to say the name because people should do their research. But this group, it's kind of like we hate on like the Black Panthers, but the Black Panthers had soup kitchens and they provided education, and the Black Panthers provided healthcare, and the CIA just took apart the Black Panthers, And the same thing happened in Palestine. The Palestinians voted democratically for a group, and this wall was built up, and now they can't even eat bananas, and it's a disaster.
Can't get an education. Yeah. Now, why do you think we give so much money to Israel, so much, compared to the other countries? I mean, we can't really say it's because there's more Jewish. We associate Jews with being in Israel, and then Muslims with being in Palestine, because Africa, South America, all those countries combined get less than Israel. So why do you think that is? Is that because we depend on them, we rely on them? I mean, it's the same thing when we look at the media right now, how we go into Libya, but we don't go into Syria because, we have a good connection with them, we have a good relationship with them. So all these things, what do you think is the reason for us giving so much money to Israel?
I don't know. They say the U.S. is controlled by Jews. I think just the Jewish people, they should be looked at kind of like Hispanic families, so united. The Jews take care of themselves. It's not just a Hispanic family like the Rodriguezes or whatever you want to say. Not being racist or nothing. But the Jews, it's not just the family, it's the whole religion. Those guys are a whole unit. So anyone here that's Jewish is sending their money back home, dang, it's crazy. How could they actually do that? And it's very positive, but it's using the wrong methods. Why do we support them? Man, I don't know. They didn't help us out in Vietnam. They didn't help us out in Korea. They didn't help us out in Somalia. You can't expect them to help us out in Iraq or Afghanistan. Don't get me wrong. I don't know. We gave that much money to Israel, the most money. The second most amount of money we give is to Egypt, or was to Egypt, and to Mubarak. Mubarak's helped Israel with keeping the Palestinians of Gaza isolated. And Barack Obama went to Egypt when he first got elected. We were giving that much money to Egypt, Mubarak. And look, he got overthrown. All this problems in the Middle East today is because of this Israeli situation, Yeah. I can't tell you why we do, how it's done. Obama has said stop building settlements, but yet when the resolution came to say this is prohibiting the peace negotiations, I don't know if it's Obama's administration or the right-wingers that were reelected into the House, but they said, nah, it's cool, it's not an issue. Yeah. I can't tell you why.
No, you have really good insights.
Yeah.
that's
it's
really
a phobia too, you know, like
no, yeah,
because
definitely.
like my mom's side of the family, they're always like, don't talk about the issue, you're ruining your future. It's very paranoid to be speaking out about the state of
But
Israel,
it's
the
so
amount of power,
important. Yeah.
the amount of power they have, though, you know, like this country supported the apartheid in South Africa, like we